I mean, it's hi. On me? Yeah. Where is he? Hello, hello. It was weird because, sure. I don't know why. It is tightened all the way. It can't get any tighter. It is on, and it is on where it usually is on. Okay.
Decisively beat the Chicago Bulls at home. But was it for sure a bird strike? At this point, the spokesperson for Delta says that maintenance workers here are still investigating exactly what happened. At Midway, I'm Michelle Gallardo, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
It's very bizarre.
One of Khaleesi's dragons, maybe?
A very big bird.
Okay.
Very big. That's what's making news in America this morning.
Do stick around for Good Morning America on this Monday. Have a great day.
Pterodactyl.
Yes.
You should trust your gut. Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
New this morning, Customs and Border Patrol agents are working to speed up border crossing times during the work week, the new pilot program being tested. Plus, a Major League Baseball player facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon this morning, what led to his arrest at his Scottsdale home. Good morning, Tucson. I'm Pat Paris, 4:30 on your Monday. Samantha Cortese will join me in just one moment. Let's check in now with April Madison. Let's mark this on our calendars, April, October 30th, the day fall finally came to Tucson, Arizona.
I mean, we're this close to November. It's about time, right? Yeah, we're seeing nice cool temps. Could be a little bit cooler out there, but we've picked up a little bit of wind and even a little cloud cover surrounding us. Those clouds actually going to increase throughout the day. So we're sitting at 63 in Tucson right now. Still have the chance for that to go down before it starts to go up, and then 40s and 50s across Cochise County. So we'll continue to go down, likely still in the low 60s by that 6 o'clock hour. 64 by 8 o'clock, and then eventually hitting 85 for the forecast high. But as you can see, those clouds are also going to increase. We'll tell you what that means for our rain chances coming up. It's Monday morning. Big Al, how are the roads?
Well, April, we have a little issue this morning, and that is the Craycroft Bridge right underneath Interstate 10. As a matter of fact, let's take a quick peek at that bridge area right underneath the freeway. We've got an overnight closure every evening starting last night until this Thursday night, usually around 8 o'clock until 5 a.m. So we're going to have about another half an hour of restriction. Again, both bridges, east and westbound I-10 over Craycroft, are being repaired. Also, unrelated, there's a street lamp that got knocked off of its pole overnight down here, so hopefully ADOT's going to be able to fix that by the time they have to reopen it at 5 o'clock. Wilmot's a good alternate, so is Valencia. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
All right, Big Al, thank you. It's 4:32 now. Mic issues, but we believe Samantha is back. Good morning. This morning, a new pilot program is underway to cut border crossing times during the work week when car lines are at their longest.
9 on your sides, Ivan Rodriguez tells us what Customs and Border Protection is doing to minimize wait times in the morning.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection is rolling out a new program to help fight against traffic at the border. Now, instead of waiting in your car for hours, they're going to be opening up more lanes at the Mariposa port of entry. Angelica Pacheco says she's had a passport ever since she was a baby and has family on both sides of the border who she's used to seeing frequently. Family in Nogales, Arizona, family in Tucson, family in Mexico. They're everywhere. Customs and Border Protection will begin a program where people like Pacheco who cross by car will be able to take advantage of possibly shorter lines. Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 in the morning, more lines will be opened at the Mariposa port of entry and try to break away some traffic from the DeConcini crossing. I think it's great because a lot of people who cross frequently for work need to be able to cross in a timely manner. Customs and Border Protection says this new program could become permanent in the future depending on usage levels. Of course, I would like it if they kept more lines open for longer, but I think it's a good start. Ivan Rodriguez, KGUN9, on your side.
And a crime alert this morning. Oakland A's catcher Bruce Maxwell arrested at his Scottsdale home over the weekend. A food delivery driver claims Maxwell pointed a gun at her on Saturday. Maxwell was booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct. Maxwell made headlines last month when he became the first Major League Baseball player to kneel in protest during the national anthem. This past week, he says a waiter in Alabama refused to serve him because of his decision to kneel.
This morning, a Tucson woman is getting help from the Red Cross following a fire in her kitchen. Happened yesterday on the west side near Anklam and Cholla. Tucson Fire tells us flames shot through the roof of a vent pipe and heavy smoke billowed from the front door. Firefighters had the flames under control in about 15 minutes. The woman wasn't hurt, but her pet bird died in that fire.
A bill moving through the House on Capitol Hill this morning could give tribes the ability to control more of its land. The Associated Press reports the American Indian Empowerment Act would let tribes shift federally controlled trust land to restricted fee land. That's instead of having to get government approval federally for virtually any use. The move could save millions of dollars that tribes now spend on regulations. Critics say they're concerned, though, that state and local governments could find loopholes to impose property taxes on tribal land. This morning, Puerto Rico is calling to cancel a power deal that could help restore power on the island. Why the governor is saying no, despite power still being out for a majority of Puerto Rico.
Plus, one woman was declared dead through her Social Security number, but she's very much alive. How the confusion started and what she has to do to come back from the dead.
Interesting. Also interesting is that trick-or-treat forecast. We're going to take a look at it, let you know what to expect as you head out and enjoy the festivities. We'll take a look at that as well as the rest of the week. Coming up, it is 4:35. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
Wherever you go, get there with the Ford Escape. The auto brand with the #1 selling SUV lineup made the 2017 Escape smarter than ever, safer than ever, and more trusted than ever. That's how you become America's best-selling brand. Now get Escape with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 cash back or $4,500 total cash back. Only at your Desert Ford dealers.
4:37, welcome back. This morning, less than a third of Puerto Rico's power generators are up and running. It's been more than a month since Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico.
A majority of the island has been without power since then, and now a company that was hired to remedy the situation may soon be replaced.
John Lawrence explains why the governor has asked one company that was hired to fix the situation to be replaced.
Puerto Rico wants to end its deal with Whitefish Energy.
In the interest of protecting our public interest, I have asked the board of the Power Authority to invoke the cancellation clause in the contract immediately.
Whitefish was awarded a $300 million deal to restore power to parts of Puerto Rico. The 2-year-old Montana-based company only had a few full-time employees prior to Maria.
There are issues here in how this contract came about. There are issues in the contract itself.
The Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority is calling for the Whitefish deal to be canceled, but they'll let Whitefish finish the work it has started. Whitefish issued a statement saying it is very disappointed in the decision to cancel the deal and that doing so will only delay what the people of Puerto Rico want and deserve, to have power restored quickly. Many Puerto Ricans are desperate, having spent more than a month in the dark.
No power, no clean water for many people. It's a matter of life and death.
Those on the ground say restoring power on an island is more difficult than on a landlocked area.
We're talking about, I think, 6,100 miles of cable. So to move all that in, to get it in off the barges, to be able to get it set in an area is going to take a long time to get it up and running.
FEMA says Puerto Rico's recovery process might take years. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now, KGUN9 on your side first warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday. It is just about 20 till 5. Not too bad outside right now, 62 degrees. We've got winds out of the southeast, pretty mild as well at 5 miles per hour. Dry conditions, but we are seeing dew points, at least in some part of the state, starting to go up. And that means that maybe, just maybe by tonight, there's a couple of places that could get a little bit of a shower. We're going to hit 85, so we're already cooling down. Yesterday, we were still in those 90s. We topped out at 91 yesterday, adding to those record 90s that we've seen for 2017. But today, I think we're done with that. In fact, the majority of the week, we are not expected to see any 90s. So we'll hit right around 84 or 85. But as you can see, as the day progresses, our clouds are also expected to increase. So it could be a great day to head out and enjoy a picnic because it's going to stay relatively cool, I'd say right up into that lunch hour. And then again, only about 85 for the official high. So that's not bad if you want to sit outside. It could be worse. And with winds staying pretty mild, it could be a great day to enjoy a picnic or just about anything outside. We go to the water vapor. This one is really focused in on that central of circulation that we're seeing right there across the Southern California coastline. You can see that low pressure system right there kind of sinking down and gradually making its way east. That is going to happen throughout the day. So a lot of this moisture is actually going to get wrapped around into southern Arizona. That's the clouds increasing. And then I'd say by 8:30 tonight, we start seeing those chances for rain, mainly a line from Tucson east to southeast. Those are the areas that could see maybe a slight chance for rain. Otherwise, mostly sunny, back to mostly sunny, even cooler again for your Halloween, which means we'll already be down to the upper 60s to right around 70 by that 6 to 7 o'clock time frame, depending on what time you're going out trick-or-treating. But we could be seeing that as early as, I'd say, 6:30, 7 o'clock, partly cloudy skies, and it'll just continue to go down from that point on. So it's going to be a really nice night for trick-or-treating. Again, since we're only hitting 81 for the high, temps are going to go down pretty quickly once the sun sets, so it'll be nice. We'll hold on to the low to mid 80s for the next 7 days with overnight lows in the 50s. How's it looking, Big Al?
Pretty good, April. 441. Reasonable day for us. Clear as a bell with no problems at all on Interstate 10. Just that Craycroft closure underneath I-10. That's the restriction until 5 o'clock this morning. Just a little right in the area of South Tucson. I'm not sure what the eastern boundary of South Tucson is. Euclid and 36th Street, the intersection is remaining closed there as they continue with a county wastewater project. They're putting in a 3-foot diameter wastewater line right across north and south at this intersection at Euclid and 36th Street. So that's a real problem. West of Euclid, use 4th or 6th Avenues to get to them. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Big Al, thank you. Another success for Cyclovia Tucson this weekend. This time the event took place in a new part of the city.
Yeah, people walking, rolling, biking down streets without cars on them and exploring the south side of Tucson. 9 on your side's Max Darrow tells us some participants hope this new route will stick around.
When Terry Schultz found out this edition of Cyclovia would be in her childhood neighborhood,
it is a great event.
She was thrilled.
I grew up on the south side, and it's good to see it happening.
This new route took people almost 4 miles through the south side, mostly down South 12th Avenue, in an effort to bring more people to the area.
I think it's great to bring people down here because people aren't exposed to this area to see the culture. It's great.
And they got to do so on car-free streets, thanks to TPD and
how you doing?
Volunteers like James Lewis.
It's really cool to have all the people come by, and as they walk by or ride by, they thank us. And I think that's heartwarming. I think that's great.
He says he appreciates the fact that Cyclovia is encouraging people to live a healthy lifestyle.
You can ride your bike, you can roller skate, you can walk, you can do anything you want, but you got to get out of your car. So it's pretty neat. I think it's a great way to promote health and wellness in the community.
Schultz says this was a success for the community, and she hopes it will prove to be again in the years to come.
Bring it back again. At least once a year, bring it back down here and make it bigger. I want to see more involvement.
That was Max Darrow reporting. This morning, some people are already finished with their trick-or-treating.
Yeah, pets trick-or-treating down 4th Avenue last night in an early Halloween celebration. Some stores giving away candy, even dog treats, so there was something for everyone. Parents say they were happy to see their kids having fun at that party.
I think it's really fun. It's a really hip place, and it's really good for young families, to just go out and be able to meet each other. I think it's just community outreach. You're able to see different things in the community, maybe find a shop or a restaurant you didn't know about, and just be able to learn more about Tucson.
There were also a costume contests for children and pets. Win or lose, all contestants, though, got a free goodie bag.
This morning, officials want to remind you, don't leave pumpkin decorations outside. Javelinas, here they are.
Yep.
Love snacking on them. Plus, peccaries can be a danger to kids, so wildlife experts remind you, keep the pumpkins inside, and neighborhoods, pick up your candy and wrappers as well.
Yeah, kids and dogs get Javelina's attention. And tomorrow is Halloween. But some of you are getting dressed up and celebrating early. We want to see all those pics and videos of both pets and people. We've gotten a lot so far, but keep sending them in. Share at KGUN9.com. You can find a gallery of your photos on our website, KGUN9.com.
You know, Erin Christensen had her big party over the weekend.
Yep.
A certain morning team and KGUN9 team won for costume contest. May show you that in the next hour or so. Might want to stick around. Imagine finding your credit cards and ATM cards shut off because you've mistakenly been declared dead. Consumer reporter John Matarese shows us one woman's incredible story and how to protect yourself so you don't waste your money.
It may sound like a cool Halloween prank, but being declared dead is no laughing matter. One woman's living a nightmare after the government decided she was no longer living. Hard to believe, but more than 5,000 Americans every year become the walking dead, the government declaring them deceased. Barbara Byers is one of them, discovering it when her bank closed her ATM card.
They finally told me that I had been deceased, and I said, well, obviously, I'm not deceased.
But it turns out the Social Security office was already alerting all of Barb's creditors that she was resting in peace.
In reality, I've been dead since September the 16th, but I didn't know until the 26th.
Barbara says things quickly escalated with her credit cards, bank, health insurance, even her doctor's office saying, we just found out you're deceased. Worse, the government took back her retirement check.
And by the time I got home, 2 hours later, it was already out of my account.
They took back your Social Security payment?
Yes, yes.
Attorney Michael Walters says this is not supposed to happen. He says Social Security now requires more than just a phone call to declare someone dead.
Social Security has policy on verifying that information.
But he says a similar name or a wrong digit on a form can trigger this, which creates a domino effect with your bank and health accounts. What's the most important thing for someone to do?
The most important thing is to go to Social Security, prove your identity, prove that you're alive.
Visit your local Social Security office with several forms of ID. Ask them for a letter stating you are not deceased. Bring or fax that letter to your banks and check your credit. Barbara Byers now has to prove to everyone she does business with that she's now undead.
I said, yeah, I know, but I'm standing here.
A Social Security spokeswoman tells me they can't comment on individual cases, but Barbara's money's now back in her account and she's officially alive again. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, KGUN9, on your side.
Wow. 447. The Senate recently renewing protections for banks or credit card companies against class action lawsuits. So what can you do if you're wronged by your bank or credit card? There are options. The kind of issues you may be having are things like you think your bank is charging you fees it shouldn't be, or a bank opens an unauthorized account in your name like what happened with Wells Fargo, or you're having issues with your credit after the Equifax breach. One of the first things you need to do is to put in a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the complaint database there. You'll usually get a response within 15 days, and it has a good track record of getting your money back. The BBB is another free option. They'll help resolve the program or at least get the response from the company that you're looking for. That takes around a month. You can also report your issue to State Attorney General's office. They may not do anything about your particular situation, but if enough people complain about the company, then they'll take legal action likely.
Down but not out. The Astros rally again against the Dodgers in another instant classic.
Yeah, how Houston battles back to take the World Series. Now the Astros have a chance to wrap it all up in L.A. Time is 4:48. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
My time is valuable, and I count on Hughes Mobile Services to help me run my life.
I'm so glad I made the switch to Hughes.
I love being a Hughes member. They're local and they give back to my community.
Make the switch. Team up with Hughes Federal Credit Union by becoming a member today.
4:51, welcome back. Game 2 of the World Series will be remembered as an epic, extra inning victory by the Astros in LA to even the best-of-7 series at a game apiece. But last night's Game 5 also needing extra innings and now solidifying this showdown as one of the greatest fall classics of all time. Let's go to Houston. Series tied 2-2. Well, this is not the right video. Okay. There's the video we're looking for. Astros ace Dallas Keuchel had already been knocked out of the game. Clayton Kershaw didn't last much longer. That's Gurriel with the 3-run homer. And then the top of the 5th, 2-1 for Cody Bellinger. The 3-run shot gives the Dodgers back the lead. So Dodgers had a 4-run lead, now a 3-run lead. Bottom of the 5th, Kenton Maeda on in relief. Jose Altuve with the 3-run shot ties the game at 7. But in the bottom of the 7th, Brandon Morrow on in relief. Morrow never pitching in 3 consecutive days in his career. Maybe he shouldn't have come in last night. Carlos Correa belts a 2-run shot to left, just gets into the Crawford boxes. Houston scores 4 off Morrow to take an 11-8 lead. But the Dodgers aren't done. In the 9th, that's a 2-run shot by Yasiel Puig, trailing 12-11. How about 3 batters later? Chris Taylor singles home the tying run in the form of Austin Barnes. They erase a 3-run deficit, tied at 12. On to extra innings. And that's Alex Bregman with the base hit off Kenley Jansen. The runner scores. Derek Fisher's safe. And that's a walk-off single. The Astros top the Dodgers in a thriller, 13-12 in 10 innings. Houston takes a 3-2 series lead.
I mean, just when I thought I could describe Game 2 as my favorite game of all time, I think Game 5 exceeded that and more. So it's hard to put into words all the twists and turns in that game, the emotion, doing it home in front of our home crowd.
And it's just, there's a lot of pressure on you when you're out there and, you want to win a game and you want to win the World Series. So, I hopefully we can win one more game and then take a break because this is hard on me.
It really is. Tomorrow night in LA, it's Game 6. So the Houston Astros with a chance to wrap up their first World Series title in their history. They send veteran Jason Verlander to the mound at Dodger Stadium. A must-win for LA, of course, tomorrow night. The Dodgers counter with Rich Hill. The Arizona Wildcats are one of college football's hottest teams, and the national pollsters are taking notice. The Wildcats cracking the AP Top 25 after Saturday's impressive upset of Washington State. Khalil Tate and the Cats avenging one of the worst losses in program history, topping the 15th-ranked Cougars 58-37. Tate passing for a career-high 275 yards and a pair of touchdowns. The Wildcats winning their 4th in a row and are now officially bowl eligible.
We talked a little bit about redemption and relevancy, and that was the last thing I said to him in the locker room coming out. We have a chance for redemption for the guys that were there in that debacle from last year, and a chance to be relevant. If you beat the top 25 team, they were whatever 15, you had a chance to make you relevant again.
I mean, yeah, they stopped the run and we opened up for the pass. So I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. Yeah, Arizona is relevant again. They're going to head into next Saturday's game against USC, ranked 23rd. Washington State drops to 25th. Arizona also opens a 9-point underdog at the Coliseum with the Trojans ranked 17th this week. The game will be for the top spot in the Pac-12 South, Sam, just like you and I would have predicted before the season began.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
I love the taunting with the fight on. He was doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're not supposed to.
You got that? The last
Alexa,
time these two teams were both ranked when they met, 1995. Unfortunately, they draw late start time. Boo. 7:45 kickoff Saturday. Game can be seen on ESPN. That's not good for people that work early in the morning at all. This morning, the Pima County Sports Hall of Fame has 14 new members. They were inducted at a banquet yesterday, along with our favorite baseball brothers, Chris and Shelley Duncan. Other notables being honored, former Arizona football coach Dick Tomey and USC standout Rodney Peete.
It's quite an honor. I'm very grateful. The people that are being honored are people, some that I've admired all my life. It humbles you because there's so many outstanding people whose athletic careers have started here and have moved on and done amazing things.
It's very exciting to come back to Tucson. I don't get a chance to do it very often, but when I do, I always love to see, friends and family and old coaches and teachers and things like that. They're the people that really shaped me to help me get to where I got to.
So, of course, we had to take the opportunity to ask Coach Tomey and Rodney Peete, the former Trojan, about next week's Arizona-USC game.
From the coaches on to everybody, trainers, everybody, they're all doing a great job, and I think Khalil Tate has just energized everybody.
It's a video game. Arizona is a video game. It's like you're playing video. I've been associated with him over the last couple of days because I guess he's won Pac-12 Player of the Week for the 3 weeks in a row. And the last time that happened was in 1988 when I did it. So I'm proud of him, I'm happy for him, and hopefully he can continue it up.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get 4 in a row, Sam. I would be surprised if he didn't. I loved Rodney Peete saying it was a video game, but I also love what you said as I was doing the Arizona story. You said, are we in Earth 2? Is it an alternate reality where Arizona beats a top 25 team like they've done, and now they have a chance to be all alone if they beat USC at top of the South standings?
Khalil Tate.
I know, it's just been amazing.
You wonder if he had played in the first 2 games.
It's frustrating. Don't get me started.
This morning, the expansion for the Marana Community Food Bank is finished, where you can see the open house up next. It's 4:57. You're watching KGUN 9.
50 covered procedures. Things like cleanings, fillings, crowns, even dentures. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. There are no networks, no deductibles, and no annual maximum. Get the dental care you deserve. Call now for your free information kit with everything you need to know about this affordable dental insurance. Call today, 1-800-584-1075. That's 1-800-584-1075.
549 today in Marana. You can check 459. I realized I said it differently.
What did you say?
549.
Oh,
darn it.
Wishful thinking.
You can check out the new Community Food Bank Resource Center in Marana.
Yeah, the new addition is 3,000 square feet and provides space where people can come to learn about nutrition and financial planning. Today's open house is from 3 until 6. The Marana Chamber of Commerce will host a ribbon cutting ceremony at 3:30. The Resource Center is located at Greer and Sandario Roads in Marana.
Lots more on Good Morning Tucson coming up as we continue the 5 o'clock hour starting now.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
New on GMT, Customs and Border Protection is set to open more lanes in Nogales, the latest on the Mariposa port of entry. Plus, today, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team will reportedly announce its first indictment in the Russia investigation, and they could start making arrests.
Plus, Senator John McCain is returning to his alma mater today, what he's planning to speak about. Good Morning Tucson at 5 o'clock on your Monday. I'm Pat Paris.
I'm Samantha Cortese. Hope your weekend went well. Do anything for Halloween, Pat?
No, I watched. It was a whole weekend of a lot of football and a little baseball too.
Yes.
Can't forget about that. It was such a great weekend, and to watch Arizona do what they did. Whew. Oh, we are?
We're in special report on ABC News, so if you're somehow seeing this, we're going to stop talking.
Yep.
News that former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and one of his associates, Rick Gates, have been told to surrender to federal authorities today. This would be the first fruits of Special Counsel Bob Mueller's 5-month investigation into whether anyone from the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians in the 2016 presidential election. George, we believe that this is tied to whether his financial dealings were somehow tied to Russians, not directly related to the collusion issue, but we're waiting to find out what the specific charges are.
We know he had business relations with Russians for many years before he and Rick Gates joined the campaign. I want to bring in John Carl right now. John, this may explain some of the tweet storms we've been seeing from President Trump over the last few days. This is big. This was a man who was President Trump's campaign manager back in 2016, and Rick Gates, who was an instrumental deputy in the campaign as well.
This is a big deal. He was the chairman of the campaign, George, somebody instrumental in Trump clinching the Republican nomination, ran the Republican convention for then nominee Donald Trump, candidate Donald Trump. Rick Gates is somebody who stayed on the Trump campaign even after Manafort was fired over the summer, and also was with the Trump transition team and the Trump inauguration team. So this cuts very close, although the charges themselves may be related to Manafort's business dealings and not anything to do with the campaign. It cuts very close to the president.
No question about that. And remember, if we go back to the timing last year during the campaign, Manafort actually left the campaign just days after several of these business dealings were revealed, including payments that he may have gotten from Ukraine.
Yes, and at the time, I was told by senior officials on the campaign that was very much part of the reason that Manafort was fired. Not the only reason, but a big part of why Manafort was fired, because of that cloud. But George, this is a big deal. Although I have to tell you, the Trump legal team in advance of this has made it clear that even if something like this were to come down, this is not a surprise that Manafort would be at the top of Mueller's list for an indictment. But the argument from the legal team is that even if this were to come down, that it would not necessarily have anything to do, or wouldn't, in their view, have anything to do with the Trump campaign or with the president himself.
Well, that's clearly what they would say. But, you know, one of the things we've learned with all of these investigations, all these special counsel investigations, they start in one place, often end up someplace very different.
No question. And you are starting at a place that is incredibly close to the President of the United States. This was the chairman of his campaign. And Rick Gates, not as major a figure in the campaign, but a prominent figure in the Trump campaign who stayed even after Manafort was fired.
Okay, I want to bring back Pierre Thomas for a little more on this as well. And Pierre, we know that Special Counsel Mueller, again, we don't know all the details of these charges specifically right now, but we know he's hired a team that includes experts in money laundering.
These are experts in money laundering, white-collar crime, people who have experience in taking down members of the mafia, organized crime. And, George, let's give a little bit of perspective here. Manafort has been in the crosshairs for months. Back in August, the FBI conducted a raid at his residence in Alexandria. They showed up inside of his apartment with a SWAT team, tactical team, to collect the evidence. It was a clear sign that he was someone that they had intense interest in and that this was serious business.
And Pierre, on his own, Manafort is a pretty big fish, the chairman, as John Carl said, of Donald Trump's campaign. But the question would be now, after this indictment, do they use that pressure to get him to talk about other activities in the campaign, to get him to talk about the president?
Again, this, we believe, is tied to financial dealings. You are required under federal law, if you're acting as a foreign agent for a foreign government, to notify federal officials of your activity. We know that Manafort amended some of his records to indicate some work that he had been done. Those cases aren't typically always prosecuted, but in this case, with the stakes being this high, the man has been under incredible scrutiny, and now he's going to face pressure like he's never seen before, George.
The first charges are in from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. First charges filed against Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort and his deputy and business partner Rick Gates. We're going to have a lot more on this all day long. You can get the latest news on abcnews.com. Right now, we're going to return now to our regular programming. For many of you, that's Good Morning America.
But here on KGUN9, of course, it's Good Morning Tucson, and we continue to follow this story at 5:05. Today, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team could make its first arrest in the Russia investigation. As you just heard, ABC News says Paul Manafort and Rick Gates will likely be charged in the Russia probe. A federal grand jury reportedly approved the first charges in the investigation back on Friday.
The charges are sealed under orders from a federal judge. Mueller issued grand jury subpoenas related to former Trump campaign manager, chairman Paul Manafort, and former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Some analysts say this could be the first in a series of significant steps by the special counsel's office. Again, Flynn not named in these charges. In fact, Paul Manafort and Rick Gates, according to ABC News.
And we'll continue to follow that. It's just breaking. It was speculated all weekend long. We still don't know all the details, and we'll continue to follow that this morning.
April Madison, it is Halloween week, kind of.
We've got it on Halloween Eve, right?
Yes.
We call it Halloween Eve. It's nice, and it's finally going to get a little bit nicer this week. It's going to feel a little bit more fall-like, and in fact, Halloween may be one of the coolest days we see, so it'll be perfect timing for the trick-or-treaters and those costumes. We're at 63 in Tucson right now, 57 in Sierra Vista, and 50 in Safford. We are going to warm up, but only a little bit above average. Our average is about 80, so we'll be about 5 degrees above that. Clouds gradually increasing throughout the day as well. We'll tell you what that means for rain chances coming up in just a bit. How's it looking over there, Big Al?
April, we have something significant on the northwest side that starts today, in addition to what is already going on there. Good morning, it's 5:07, and the issue is up near this area, near Linda Vista, just east of Interstate 10. Pima County is widening Cortero Farms between Camino de Oeste and Thornydale Road. The Ina Road restrictions are also with us, right near Interstate 10, and the ADOT project there that has closed that interchange as they beef it up. This area here on Cortero Farms is now 25 miles per hour. The Ina Road issue, so that makes it really something that we want to try to avoid by using what we would think would be Linda Vista, but now there's a 3-day project there that's going on, some improvement. So Linda Vista, Cortero Farms, Ina are all in a way under construction. Orange Grove is your best alternative for the next 3 days. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Big Al, thank you. This morning, Customs and Border Protection will open more lanes at the Mariposa Port of Entry in Nogales. The extra lanes will be open during morning rush hour traffic. CBP hopes it eases congestion at other Nogales border crossings. People who cross the border regularly say they're looking forward to the extra lanes.
I think it's great because a lot of people who cross frequently for work need to be able to cross in a timely manner.
CBP says this is a pilot program and it could become permanent in the future. Happening today, Senator John McCain is returning to his alma mater to address the Brigade of Midshipmen at the U.S. Naval Academy. The former Navy pilot will speak about his service and leadership. The event is not open to the public.
Oh, more budget woes for Tucson's largest school district. TUSD is bracing for a big hit as hundreds of students continue to leave the district.
It is 5:08. You are watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Don't miss the Tubac Fall Arts and Crafts Festival, November 3rd through the 5th. Enjoy 100 visiting artists, year-round shops and galleries, plus food, music, and fun in the historic village of Tubac, south of Tucson on I-19 at exit 34.
KGUN 9 on your side is brought to you by Amy's Donuts.
512, welcome back. Student enrollment is a big issue for school districts because state funding is tied to the number of students sitting in classroom seats.
For TUSD, the dip could mean a budget cut of about $4.5 million. Take a look at the projected enrollment numbers this school year. The district recently revised it from just under 45,000 students to slightly more than 44,000. That's a loss of about 880 students. This is the first year that the budget is based on the current year's number rather than the previous year, which means the total enrollment could drop even more in the coming months. Board Chair Michael Hicks tells us he's upset about the overall decline of the district over the past few years. He says his first priority is to get students back into the district and believes the best way to do that is to give more support to teachers in the classroom. Most of Puerto Rico still without power this morning. Now a company that was hired to remedy this situation may soon be replaced.
Plus, the Navy is investigating 2 members of the elite SEAL Team 6 for the death of an Army Green Beret. Details coming up next.
And we've got clouds expected to increase throughout the day, so who might actually get some rain tonight? We'll have the answer coming up. It's 5:13. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
As a performer, my time is valuable, and I count on Hughes Mobile Services to help me run my life.
I'm so glad I made the switch to Hughes.
I love being a Hughes member. They're local and they give back to my community.
Make the switch. Team up with Hughes Federal Credit Union by becoming a member today.
KGUN 9 on your side is brought to you by Precision Toyota. Now, KGUN 9 on your side first warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
Good morning. It is 5:16. It's nice outside. We're at 62 still in Tucson, but I do think that number is going to go down before it starts to go up just as the sun is rising. We've got 41 though in Wilcox, 51 in Douglas, 50s across most of Cochise and Santa Cruz County. We are going to go up. Temps are going to be about 3 to 5 degrees above average, but much closer to where they should be now and for the rest of the week than what we've been seeing the past couple of weeks. Finally looking to be done with those 90s. 76 in Sonoita, 77 Nogales today, 85 for you in Sells and Ajo, 86 3 Points. Tucson will also see the mid-80s today. So Rita, the same. Oro Valley, 86. Summer Haven, 57 and 82 for you in Vail. Overnight lows also getting down. That's the one thing we've enjoyed, at least even as we were seeing those record-breaking temps the past couple of weeks. At least the overnight lows have been so nice, and that'll be the same and even cooler over the next couple of days. 49 in Douglas, 51 Sierra Vista, 43 for you in Sonoita, 56 Sells, 55 3 Points, and then there it is, 40s and 50s across the board. Tucson going to dip down to about 57 overnight. We go to our satellite radar. You can see a little bit of cloud cover starting to filter in just to our north and west. This is all coming from a system that's been sinking down the California coast and is now set up over the southern California coast. There's the center of circulation, and we're going to get a little bit of this wraparound moisture as the entire system begins to move east throughout the day. So that's the reason that the clouds are going to begin increasing, but it could be likely 7, 8 o'clock tonight before we start to see any possibility of maybe a few spotty showers here and there. And I'd say that line is really from Tucson east to the Nogales line, seeing the best chance, but the clouds could stick around even through Tuesday and maybe Wednesday. What's nice though, whether we get any rain out of this or not, is once it moves on, we start seeing even more cooling. Our average right about now is 80, so we're going to be very close to that for your Halloween, and then for the rest of the 7 days we're going to hover in the low to mid 80s 80s. Even as we gain a little bit towards the weekend, again, it's just going to be much more fall-like than what we've been seeing. A little bit of increased cloud cover for the weekend as well. Big Al, how's it looking?
April, not bad this morning. We are into the 5 o'clock hour. Craycroft was closed over the weekend right underneath Interstate 10 because I-10 goes over the top, the auto auction, the Triple T, and the Pilot there. Lots of people use that area because that is a big area of growth. In fact, the city of Phoenix has annexed that area that'll become effective in about 10 days. ADOT's repairing both of the bridges over the top of Craycroft, so a good alternate while Craycroft remains closed every night through this Thursday night would be either Wilmot or Valencia to get from one side of Interstate 10 to the other. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Big Al, thank you. 5:19 this morning, Puerto Rico's leaders are working to cancel that controversial $300 million contract to restore the island's power grid. Governor Ricardo Rossello says Montana-based Whitefish Energy has been, quote, interfering with everything and not helping the island rebuild. Critics say the company is young, small, and charging high labor costs. Many don't like the company is based in the U.S. Interior Secretary Ryan Zenke's hometown.
People in Northeast are waking up to flooding and high wind warnings this morning as a cold front clashes with what's left of Tropical Storm Philippe. We're getting new video out of New London, Connecticut, showing the damage. Winds are blowing trees over. Even traffic lights were tossed around by the strong winds. More than 130,000 customers across Connecticut have no power this morning, and that number will likely grow. Investigators are trying to figure out why very private information about security at London's Heathrow Airport ended up on a USB stick in the street. A man who claimed to have found it gave it to a newspaper, not police. The USB drive reportedly had details like maps of closed-circuit cameras and the network of tunnels and escape routes. The Queen's route to the airport was also reportedly on the stick. Heathrow says it believes the airport is secure.
This morning, the Navy's investigating whether two SEAL Team 6 members played a role in a Green Beret's death. Army Staff Sergeant Logan Melger was found dead in embassy housing in Mali in June. The military classified his death as a homicide. The New York Times reports he was strangled. But right now, there is intensified scrutiny about the military's role in Africa after 4 service members died in Niger earlier this month.
It's been a month since the mass shooting in Vegas, and investigators are still struggling to figure out why the gunman, Stephen Paddock, did it. This morning, the gunman's brain is on the way to Stanford University in California for an intense study. Doctors will look for disease, neurological problems, and other abnormalities. Some experts, though, warn investigators not to automatically link a brain abnormality to a motive. iPhone 10 will drop in stores soon, but a warning if you drop it yourself, how much it will cost you coming up.
Plus, cookie, don't you want some? Donut. Get it, donut? You want some? It reads better. Why the new Pillsbury cookie dough is getting mixed reviews. You're watching KGUN9 at 521.
855-209-8664. That's 855-209-8664.
We love shopping at Furniture Connection. Furniture Connection is the only place I shop for furniture. They're just great people here at Furniture Connection.
We're Furniture Connection. This is where it gets good.
Well, if you've decided to spring for Apple's fancy new iPhone 10, make sure you also invest in a case and a screen protector. That's because repairs are going to cost more than they did for the previous versions of the iPhone, a lot more. According to Apple's website, fixing a broken screen on the iPhone 10 will set you back $275. That price comes down if you purchased Apple Care, the extended warranty program. But even that is changing. It only covers 2 instances of accidental damage. A third time will raise your repair costs significantly. iPhone 10 is Apple's most expensive iPhone. It sells for around $1,000, and it's supposed to hit store shelves November 3rd, but I don't know if you're going to be able to find them.
I tried to order, so you and I tried to order around the same time.
Yep.
You got through. I got through, but December 11th would be the first delivery, and that was like an hour after it came out.
I'm going to get mine on Friday, but we'll see.
I have to check out yours to see if I really want this phone. Stocks set more records as their winning streak extended to a 7th week. Google, Microsoft, Google parent Alphabet, and Amazon all saw strong gains. Microsoft had its biggest jump in 2 years, while Alphabet made its largest move in more than a year. Both companies' third quarter results beat Wall Street expectations. Amazon saw a 13% increase, its biggest move in 2.5 years, following a big boost from the latest Prime Day promotion and the purchase of Whole Foods.
In the wake of Amazon's earnings report, the company's CEO Jeff Bezos just passed up Bill Gates to become the world's richest person. His net worth is now more than $90 billion, but Gates shouldn't feel too bad. He made about $600 million just Friday as Microsoft stock surged 7%.
Wow.
The two have been going back and forth for the title recently. Bezos briefly passed Gates back in July as well. You can already get pretty much everything from Amazon, and your prescription could be next. The company has gotten wholesale pharmacy licenses in at least 12 states, including right here in Arizona. Maine is also pending an application for a pharmaceutical license.
Pillsbury just changed the recipe for its popular ready-to-bake cookie dough. It got rid of artificial flavors, colors, and preservatives for a healthier cookie. But the calorie count did not change from the old recipe to the new. Fans say they can taste a difference, but reviews are mixed. Some people call it horrible. Others think it's delicious. So we just have to do our journalistic duty and try it out for ourselves.
We better try it.
Might as well.
Major League Baseball catcher just caught himself some new charges this morning.
Why he was arrested at his home in Scottsdale. Up next. You're watching KGUN9 at 527.
Finally, all cash as is sale. Call me at 977-1110 or go to WeBuyHouses.com.
Nothing comes before coffee. It's your morning savior. That's why we're introducing a new line of cafe-quality espresso drinks from the cafe, like the iced caramel macchiato. So now you can face those morning people. Get any small for just $2.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
Breaking news this morning, former Donald Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort is turning himself in to the Justice Department Special Counsel Robert Mueller.
We just saw him walk through those doors about 5 minutes ago through feeds on CNN, and here's the live look where all is apparently calm since they're inside the building. A source with direct knowledge of the matter says Manafort was indicted after under seal on Friday in the Russia investigation. The indictment is expected to be unsealed later today. Manafort is the first in President Trump's orbit to be charged in connection with the special counsel investigation. His work for a former Ukrainian president caused controversy, but Manafort denied financial wrongdoing regarding his Ukraine-related payments.
Back in July, the FBI executed a so-called no-knock search warrant with guns drawn at Manafort's home in Virginia. Financial and tax documents were taken by federal authorities. Also named in the sealed indictment is expected to be internet pioneer Rick Gates. He is also expected to turn himself in today. And with that, we say good morning, Tucson. 5:31 on your Monday. I'm Pat Paris.
I'm Samantha Cortese. Thank you for joining us. We will continue to update you on that story. That's been, feels like for a year now, we've been talking about Russia, Russia.
Really ramped up over the weekend with, like the worst kept secret in Washington that this was going to happen, and now apparently it has, and we'll continue to follow it.
April Madison, a lot of people looking forward to that trick-or-treating forecast for tomorrow.
It's going to be nice. In fact, Halloween could end up being one of the coolest days we see this week, and it is going to be a much nicer, more fall-like forecast over the next 7 days. We're at 62 right now in Tucson. We still have the time for that to go down as the sun rises, but we got 40s and 50s across Cochise County, Southern Graham and Greenlee County, Nogales at 53. Not bad at all. We are going to gradually see clouds increasing throughout the day, becoming partly to mostly cloudy by late in the afternoon, and then by tonight may even see a slight isolated shower or two. 85 the forecast high today, so 5 degrees above average, but at least it's the 80s. Big Al, how's it looking over there?
April, not bad this morning. Let's take a look at a little something that we have here going on. One of them is this area right in the spot of Midtown. Looking here in the area of Reed Park, Campbell Avenue, a little bit of slowing as you move toward the area of Broadway Boulevard. Nothing here right now. Kolb and Irvington had a little something earlier this morning. On the northwest side, still green at Orange Grove. The Ina Road area is restricted, as you know, because of the interchange work that's going on. Green here, Alvernon from Valencia to Hughes access, and on I-19 northbound from Duval Mine Road, where a lot of people get on, all the way up to Interstate 10, about an 18-minute ride. That's not bad. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Big Al, thank you. Happening now. Got April Madison hiding behind me.
I'm sorry.
April, you want to go ahead?
Sorry, I'm trying to just pick up my phone here. I apologize. We should get back to news. I'll see you guys later.
You blended in with the blue.
You did.
I thought it was Halloween, maybe our background. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency is getting ready to begin a pilot program at the Port of Nogales' Mariposa Crossing. Starting at 6 this morning, about a half an hour, officials will open more lanes to help ease the traffic wait times during morning rush hour. CBP hopes this will help alleviate congestion and encourage more drivers to use the Mariposa Crossing instead. In a tweet, CBP says it's always looking for more ways to help facilitate the entry process. Coming up in our next half hour, 9 on your side's Carlos Herrera will be live at the crossing to give us a look at this temporary program.
And a crime alert this morning. Oakland A's catcher Bruce Maxwell arrested at his home in Scottsdale over the weekend. Now, a food delivery driver claims Maxwell pointed a gun at her on Saturday. Maxwell was booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct. Maxwell made headlines last month when he became the first MLB player to kneel in protest during the national anthem. This past week, he says a waiter in Alabama refused to serve him because of his decision to kneel.
This morning, a Tucson woman is getting help from the Red Cross following a fire in her kitchen. Happened yesterday on the west side near Anklam and Choya. Tucson Fire tells us flames shot out of a roof vent pipe and heavy smoke billowed out of the front door. Firefighters had the flames under control in about 15 minutes. The woman wasn't hurt, but her pet bird died in that fire.
A bill moving through the House on Capitol Hill this morning could give tribes the ability to control more of their land. The Associated Press reports the American Indian Empowerment Act would let tribes shift federally controlled trust land to restricted fee land. That's instead of having to get federal approval for virtually any use. The move could save millions of dollars that tribes now spend on regulations. Critics say, though, they're concerned state or local governments could find loopholes to impose property taxes on tribal land. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Defense Secretary James Mattis will testify to Senate committee today about America's wars. What lawmakers will be asking today.
Plus, we tour a home with a locksmith to show easy ways to secure your doors and windows to keep crooks out.
And it's going to be a nice forecast, not only for the whole week, but definitely for your trick-or-treaters. We'll go over that forecast coming up. It's 5:35. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Want the right advice? There's only one person you need to talk to. I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. In a wreck, need a check? Make one call, that's all. 977-1900.
You deserve the facts. Don't rely on information or advice from a toll-free number. Work with one of our certified reverse mortgage professionals. Call Glenn and Robin with the smart team at Nova Home Loans today. 520-790-5900 or go to smartloanaz.com.
KGUN 9 on your side is brought to you by Amy's Donuts.
5:39. Welcome back. This morning, Defense Secretary James Mattis and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson are getting ready to testify to Congress. They'll give the Senate Foreign Relations Committee the Trump administration's view on war authorizations. Congress wants to rewrite the authorization bill. It's been the same since the September 11th attacks. Some lawmakers say the landscape of our wars are very different now. Another big question they'll tackle is how to preserve privacy.
Congressional Republicans are unveiling their big tax reform bill this week. The White House is saying it will give the typical American family a $4,000 raise. But will it? Our news partners at PolitiFact found economists across the political spectrum were skeptical. The claim comes from a report by the President's Council on Economic Advisors.
Even some of those economists who were cited in that document said that they had kind of misinterpreted what their findings were, or they were skeptical of the larger idea that the White House is trying to sell.
Specifically, the $4,000 figure could take years to go into effect. It's also an average that may not be distributed equally to everyday Americans, if at all. But PolitiFact didn't give the claim a rating because it's only a prediction.
Now, KGUN9 on your side first warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
Good morning. It is 5:40 and we've been hovering right around 62 to 63 all morning, depending on the wind, which isn't bad. We're also seeing clouds gradually increasing around us, but that'll happen mostly later in the day. Winds right now out of the southeast at 8 miles per hour, and we have mostly clear skies. This could be a good day for a picnic, and one of the first we've seen in a while where I could say you might actually enjoy sitting outside before it gets record-breaking hot. And today our high, although it is 85, I would say all the way up through early afternoon, it's going to be pretty nice. Not expecting a lot of wind, and even at noon we're only talking a high of 81. So if you're on the patio, maybe outside doing a picnic in the shade under a tree, it's going to be very, very nice this afternoon. But you can also see anytime from noon on, we're going to start seeing those clouds increasing. That's going to bring on at least a very slight chance for some isolated showers. Let's go to the water vapor, because this not only a good indicator of our dry versus moist air, it also shows that center of circulation and where it's all coming from. Right there, this has been sinking down the California coastline for about, I'd say 2 days now, and it's gradually making its way east. And so a lot of this moisture is going to swing through probably the very southeast corner of the state. So that line from Tucson to Nogales and then southeast of there is likely our best chance to see any of that rain or shower. Isolated in Santa Cruz, Cochise County, again, possibly a buildup here and there, but it's not until much later into the evening. So we'll see the clouds first, and then the showers will be possible anytime into the late evening, and then overnight hours you can see even into Tuesday and Wednesday we could hold on to quite a bit of cloud cover before it's all said and done. But it is going to bring on much cooler temps. So 85 today, but then we have a high of just 81 expected for your Halloween, which means by the time the sun sets, starts going down into that trick-or-treat time frame, we'll already be in the upper 60s. So it's going to be very nice, partly cloudy, nice and cool, which is going to be very, very nice for those trick-or-treaters and those costumes that are a little on the warm side. And then even after we gain a few degrees, we're still going to hold on to the low to mid 80s really for the next 7 days. Big Al?
April, things moving well for us with no surprises this morning, which is great news. Very good news, as a matter of fact. Here's a look at Cortero Farms, just east of Interstate 10. If you're just joining us, we've got some big news today. My colleague Alexa Liaco is going to be talking about this in just a little bit. Pima County's widening Cortero Farms. You know that already. That's not the story. The story is, what do we use as an alternate route when Ina's interchange is closed at I-10 and Cortero Farms has construction all the way from Thornydale to Camino de Oeste? We would normally use Linda Vista, but today that has a 3-day project to do some microsurfacing work between the area of Hartman Lane all the way over to Mountain View High School at Thornydale. So all three of these, Linda Vista, Cortero Farms, and Ina, have challenges getting to and from the freeway this morning. Orange Grove could be the best way. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
All right, Big Al, thank you. 543. We'd all like to make our home more secure from burglars, but alarm systems and monitoring are expensive.
Consumer reporter John Mattery shows us some simple, inexpensive ways to keep the crooks out so you don't waste your money.
With heroin and opioid-related crime making news almost every day, you know, a lot of us would like to make our homes safer from break-ins. So we found some easy ways to secure your home for under $50. Brandy Boone knows how a home burglary can shake up your world.
Busted this whole frame.
2 years ago, burglars kicked in the door. They even took her wedding ring. Locksmith Jim Lang's job is to stop them.
The more noise you have them make, the better you're going to be.
He starts with a $4 flip latch, much more secure than a chain.
So you can't open the door once you're inside.
Live in an apartment or condo? Try this Door Angel for $15.
You put this on once you're on the inside, and they can't use the key to get in.
It keeps out the handyman or an ex who might have a key. Jim says the weakest link in most homes is not the front door, but rather the back or side door, where a lot of people still don't have a good deadbolt lock.
They don't want to go through the front door, have everybody in the neighborhood see them.
This side door has a basic lock where Jim's credit card pops it right open.
Push on it, it's going to open the door.
Jim says fix it with a $20 deadbolt. But if the screws are short, thieves can still kick your door in. So Jim does the $1, yep, $1 security fix.
Put that one in.
He screws extra long 3-inch screws into the frame.
It's almost impossible to break in.
Next, your sliding glass door, which he says burglars can lift and slide. Jim fixes it with a door pin, $5.
And what you do is put that pin through your sliding glass door in the back so that the glass door will not slide.
Windows are another access point. Jim says a $7 sliding lock lets fresh air in but keeps crooks out.
So that you can't raise it at all.
As for your garage, that hanging emergency cord is a target for any burglar with a coat hanger. It costs you nothing, though, to
tie this up here so you can't grab it and put it through the garage door.
Finally, we've all seen ads for the $200 Ring doorbell. But Jim says an old-fashioned peephole will set you back just $7. Of course, if you have more money, you can buy a Wi-Fi camera system and home security system, but you can still get some peace of mind for just a few bucks. You don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries, KGUN9, on your side.
Will the peephole, that $7, record the people at my house?
Will it send it to your app and so you can say, hey, get off my lawn? No.
Incomparable.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
Anyway. Hey, you know what the real trouble spot in Tucson right now to drive around is?
No, where?
Northwest side, Marana, and it's getting worse. Alexa Liacco joins us live now here on GM2 to explain just how much worse it's going to get.
Well, Pat, for the next 3 days, at least one more main road to and from I-10 is going to have some restrictions on it. When we were driving in this morning, we're on Linda Vista and Thornydale now, but we did see several signs along the side of the road that crews will be picking up later today saying wait for pilot car. So Linda Vista will be down to one lane for at least the next 3 days during usual business hours for some micro sealing going on. That is a pavement preservation project. They're going to try and put a coating on top of the road to make sure that the pavement doesn't break up as soon as it normally would to prevent some potentially future road projects. Now, the problem that this is creating is not only a slowdown on Linda Vista, which is a big issue for Desert View High School out here, but also this is also a problem because Cortero Farms and Ina are under construction as well. So all of the roads to I-10 are getting very congested. We know Ina not closed, but very restricted. Cortero Farms restricted as well. A good alternate if you want to avoid all construction is to take Orange Grove to and from I-10. You can get through on Linda Vista. We want to make sure that you know it is not closed, but it is going to be restricted for the next 3 days, starting this morning for some paving and sealing work. That is going to be from Thornydale to Hartman. So if you do go to this high school over here, your son or daughter does, give yourself a few extra minutes. There is going to be traffic directed through that area. And again, this project lasts until Wednesday. Pat and Sam, back to you.
It's certainly, thank you, Alexa, frustrating right now that every one of those east-west arteries is now pretty much closed or congested or
Clogged.
restricted or clogged. Ugh. Yeah.
Down but not out, and we're not talking about you trying to get to the freeway. The Astros rally again against the Dodgers in another instant classic.
Yeah, how Houston battles back to take the World Series lead. Now the Astros have a chance to wrap it up in LA. The time is 5:48. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
are if you have an infection, tears in the stomach or intestines, low blood cell counts, and higher liver tests and cholesterol levels have happened. Your doctor should perform blood tests before you start and while taking Xeljanz XR and monitor certain liver tests. Tell your doctor if you are in a region where fungal infections are common and if you have had TB, hepatitis B or C, or are prone to infections. Needles, a must for vinyl. But for you, 1 pill a day may provide symptom relief. Ask your doctor about Xeljanz XR, an injection.
5:51. You remember Game 2 of the World Series was remembered as an epic extra inning victory by the Astros in L.A. to even that best of series at a game apiece. Well, last night, Game 5, also needing extra innings and solidifying the showdown as one of the greatest fall classics of all time. Let's go to Houston. Series tied 2 games apiece. Astros ace Dallas Keuchel knocked out in the 4th. Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw doesn't last much longer. Bottom of the 4th. Yuli Gurriel, a 3-run shot, erases an early 4-0 deficit, all knotted at 4. Kershaw goes 4 2/3. Top of the 5th, 2-on, 1 out for Cody Bellinger. And that's a 3-run shot. The Dodgers take the lead on the home run. Bottom of the inning, Kenton Maeda on relief, 2-on, 2 out for Jose Altuve. Altuve's small, but that 3-run blast is huge. Ties it again at 7. Bottom of the 7th. Brandon Morrow on in relief. Morrow never pitching 3 consecutive days in his career. He shouldn't have come in last night. Carlos Correa belts a 2-run shot to left. Houston scores 4 off Morrow, 11-8. Dodgers aren't done, though. That's a 2-run shot in the 9th by Yasiel Puig. Second homer of the series. L.A. trails 12-11. 3 batters later, Chris Taylor singles to center, scoring Austin Barnes. The Dodgers come back from a 3-run deficit to tie it at 12. In extra innings. Bottom of the 10th, 2-on, 2 out. Alex Bergman with the hit off closer Kenley Jansen. Derek Fisher safe. It's a walk-off single, and the Astros beat the Dodgers in a thriller 13-12 in 10 innings. Houston takes a 3-2 series lead.
I mean, just when I thought I could describe Game 2 as my favorite game of all time, I think Game 5 exceeded that and more. So it's hard to put into words all the twists and turns in that game, the emotion, doing it home in front of our home crowd.
And it's just, there's a lot of pressure on you when you're out there and, you want to win a game and you want to win the World Series. So, I hopefully we can win one more game and then take a break because this is hard on me.
It's difficult to win the World Series, isn't it? And that game last night was thrilling. Tomorrow night in L.A., it'll be Game 6. The Houston Astros with a chance to wrap up the first World Series title in their history. They send veteran Jason Verlander to the mound at Dodger Stadium. A must-win for L.A. The Dodgers counter with Rich Hill. The Arizona Wildcats are one of college football's hottest teams, and the national pollsters are taking notice. The Wildcats cracking the AP Top 25 after Saturday's impressive upset of Washington State. Khalil Tate and the Cats avenging one of the worst losses in program history, topping the 15th-ranked Cougars 58-37. Tate not only running but passing. How about a career high in passing, 275 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and that long run as well. The Wildcats winning their 4th in a row and are now officially bowl eligible.
We talked a little bit about redemption and relevancy, and that was the last thing I said to them in the locker room coming out. We have a chance for redemption for the guys that were there in that debacle from last year, and a chance to be relevant. If you beat the top 25 team, they were 15, you had a chance to make you relevant again.
I mean, yeah, they stopped the run and we opened up for the pass. So, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
Arizona will head into next Saturday's game against USC, ranked 23rd. Washington State drops to 25th, by the way. Arizona also opens as a 9-point underdog at the Coliseum, with the Trojans ranked 17th this week. This game will be for the top spot in the Pac-12 South, just like Samantha Cortese predicted all along. She said that before the season began, I believe. Now, the last time these two teams were both ranked when they met, 1995. Unfortunately, they draw a late start time. Boo. 7:45 on Saturday night. Game will be seen on ESPN. They did redeem themselves against Washington State, and they did make themselves relevant again. But with all the excitement surrounding this, it's going to be a tough game at USC. The Trojans have underachieved. The Wildcats have overachieved, but it's still a USC team that's ranked in the top 20.
I honestly thought ASU was going to bring it a little harder against SC this weekend.
I did too. To me, ASU was a product of a lot of things kind of breaking their way. I think Arizona, because of Khalil Tate, is legitimate. I think that's the difference between what ASU was able to do to this point and then the loss to USC and what Arizona's continuing to do right now.
We can only hope that SC just got a little cocky after the ASU games. We got their swag back. We are the team we thought we were.
Yeah.
And then Arizona just comes in and upset. We're living in Earth 2. No one thought this was going to happen. It's the creepiest time of the year, but crunching numbers can be just as scary. Coming up, the Halloween-themed riddle, confusing people all over the internet. It's 5:56. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
Mayor pose a port
$9 a month. Plus, ask about new panoramic Wi-Fi.
Ah, the paint on my house needs help. Wow, when can you start?
How about now?
Paint Kings will paint for you. Inside, outside, old house or new. Paint Kings, free estimates. Licensed, bonded, and insurance. Paint Kings, we're Tucson's pro. You'll love our prices cause they're low, low, low. Paint Kings, Paint Kings.
Welcome back, 5:59. Halloween known as the scariest time of the year.
It certainly is. And it's not just because I went to my high school reunion this weekend, which was quite scary. It's also because of a themed riddle. That's right. I took this on our Facebook page. You can too. Check out the riddle. 3 ghosts equals 12. A ghost, 2 pumpkins, 20. A pumpkin, 3 bats, 14. So naturally you'd think the ghosts were 4. The pumpkins were 8 each, and then you go down to the last one, and
it's times instead of plus.
Okay, so I thought that was the trick too, but should we reveal it, or should we just let people guess on our Facebook page? Because there is a little detail here, other than the times, that will...
There's only 2 bats instead of 3.
Pat Paris, nothing gets past you.
No, that's the first time I've seen it, I promise you.
I know. I didn't. It was 1 o'clock this
morning. But I'm glad you helped me out by saying, be careful, it's kind of tough down at the bottom.
And we do have a winning group of reporters here. I think Alexa, with that magnifying glass, could have noticed the difference between the 3 and the 2 bats.
She could.
The Mystery Gang won the best group costume at Aaron Christensen's Halloween contest.
Yes, Carlos Herrera stealing the show.
There's Max Darrow, Priscilla Casper. You can see that.
And Adrian, one of our producers.
Yes, you can see that all on our Facebook pages, Alexa and Carlos.
Really great stuff. Keep it here. Another hour coming up at 6 o'clock.
And we want to see your pictures as well, so send them to share at KGUN9.com.
Ooh, that'll help too.
We want to see how you're dressing up the kiddos and all that fun stuff, and maybe you'll see it on the air. GMT continues now.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
New on GMT this morning, a new program is being tested at the Mariposa Port of Entry. How Customs and Border Patrol agents plan to decrease the time it takes to cross the border. And traffic on the northwest side is expected to be heavy this morning. The construction project that could leave thousands of people cut off from I-10.
Plus, police are looking for 4 people this morning following a house party that turned deadly. How police say one person died there.
Good morning, Tucson. 6:01 now on your Monday. I'm Pat Paris.
I'm Samantha Cortese. Thank you for joining us.
Now we begin with breaking news this morning. Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort has turned himself into the Justice Department Special Counsel Robert Mueller.
We have video of Manafort walking into the FBI in Washington, D.C. Just this morning, we learned Manafort was indicted under seal on Friday in the Russia investigation. The indictment is expected to be unsealed later today. Manafort is the first in President Trump's orbit to be charged in connection with the special counsel investigation. His work for a former Ukrainian president caused controversy, but Manafort denied financial wrongdoing regarding his Ukraine-related payments.
Back in July, the FBI executed a so-called no-knock search warrant with guns drawn at Manafort's home in Virginia. Financial and tax documents were taken by federal authorities. Also named in the sealed indictment is internet pioneer Rick Gates. He is also expected to turn himself in today. Leaders from Facebook, Google, and Twitter will testify to Congress about the Russia probe starting tomorrow. They'll tell 3 congressional panels about their role in their platforms, what they played in the Russia election meddling. Experts say this is a big deal because these companies rarely testify publicly about anything. Officials say you can expect to hear questions about how they will stop future interference attempts.
This morning, cross-border commuters could spend less time waiting in line at the Mariposa Port of Entry.
CBP is opening more lanes to reduce wait times and traffic. 9 on your side's Carlos Herrera is live at the Mariposa Port of Entry with more on how this will benefit daily commuters. Carlos.
Yeah, guys, and that port of entry still closed right now, but it should be opening in just a couple of minutes at 6 a.m. And eventually those extra lanes will also will open today as a pilot program. And now this is how the port of entry looks like right now. Not too bad, but trust me, it does get a little worse once the gets to 6:30 or so. And that's exactly what CBP wants to fix, or just wants to solve. They'll be opening those extra lanes at 6 a.m. and then every day, and will not only help reduce the wait times for travelers during morning rush hour, but also help ease traffic here and at other Nogales border crossings. People who cross the border every day tell me the extra lanes will help them save a lot of time.
I think it's great because a lot of people who cross frequently for work need to be able to cross in a timely manner.
And for now, it's only a pilot program that will run Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. However, CBP says this can be a permanent solution depending on how many people use it. CBP anticipates that it will alleviate traffic here and at the DeConcini Port of Entry as well. They want to just encourage every daily commuter who uses these border crossings to take advantage of the extra lanes. You can head to our website, KGUN9.com, for more information. For now, we're live in Nogales at the Mariposa Port of Entry. I'm Carlos Herrera. Pat and Sam are sending it back to you guys.
All right, Carlos, thank you very much.
April Madison, a lot of people wondering how the trick-or-treat forecast is looking.
It's looking really nice. I mean, it couldn't be a better week for it to finally arrive, those fall temps, and we are going to see it going down actually into your Halloween. We're at 65 now, so we haven't dipped below the 60s, mainly because the wind has picked up just slightly here in Tucson, but 56 in Sierra Vista right now and a nice chilly 47 in Safford. We are going to be a little above average, but it's still in the 80s. 85 the forecast high with clouds increasing throughout the day. We'll talk about rain chances and even more of a cool down coming up in just a few minutes. Are the roads doing okay, Big Al?
Except near the U of A, April, I'd say yes. And I also have to take another exception because my colleague Alexa Liaco is at a pretty significant area this morning. That area is up near the northwest side. I don't want this map. I'd like to see something else here on our own traffic mapping system if I'm able to. Maybe we're locked up here, but Here we are. Tucson Water is installing a new water line on Wilmot. Before I get to that, I want to show you this. This is University and Campbell Avenue. There's a hazard of some sort there. Look at the northbound slowing on Campbell as you come up toward the area of Speedway Boulevard. A pretty significant issue. I'm not sure what that hazard might be. Also, this area here, Wilmot between Golf Links and Pima Street. Big work with the 12-inch water line going in by Tucson Water over the next several weeks and maybe into February. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Well, Big Al, we're out on Linda Vista this morning. Between Thornydale and Hartman is the area of concern for construction, especially if you're going over to Mountain View High School. This is especially frustrating for people who live or commute through the Northwest Side because this has been historically a great alternate for drivers who are getting through all of the other construction projects going on. If we can take a look at the map that Big Al put together for us this morning, Linda Vista is the northernmost artery to and from I-10. Cortero Farms being the next one. That is under construction right now. Traffic very slow and irritating to get through that area. And then, of course, right south to that is Ina. And, of course, Ina not closed either, but, again, very significant construction going on. Very hard to get through for drivers. So if you want, you can take Orange Grove and avoid all of the construction mess because Linda Vista from Hartman to Thornydale will be getting some micro sealing done for the next 3 days. This project is scheduled to last until Wednesday. What they'll be doing is giving the pavement a coating so that it will hopefully not deteriorate as quickly as it would in the past. Now, this is going to only be restricting traffic to one lane in each direction. We've seen several signs throughout the morning that instruct drivers to wait for the pilot car. It's not going to start until a little bit later this morning, but it will be just in time for your morning commute. So just give yourself a few extra minutes if you do plan to take Linda Vista or avoid the whole mess altogether and take Orange Grove as your alternate. Pat and Sam, back to you.
All right, good advice, Alexa. Thank you. At 6:08 now, a crime alert this morning. Tucson police are looking for 4 people they say shot and killed a person at a house party. Officers say 4 people tried to get into the party around 1 in the morning on Saturday just north of the U of A campus. When told they could not come in, police say they started shooting, first into the air and then at people inside. 2 people were hit. 25-year-old Peter Ortiz died at the hospital. The other victim is expected to survive.
It's nighttime, you're walking down the street, and for some reason you feel like you should take a different route home. Your instincts tell you something doesn't feel right, but you don't really know why.
Yeah, that brings us to a saying most of us have either said or been told, trust your gut instinct. But many of us doubt it. Many of us ask the question, why? Well, tonight a self-defense teacher and a psychologist weigh in. They think that your gut instinct is there to protect you, and in some circumstances, it can help save your life.
Intuition at some level could be a biological mechanism that's looking out for our own good. A guidance system, some type of internal guidance system.
9 on your sides, Max Darrow has a story tonight at 10. Student enrollment is a big issue for school districts, including TUSD.
Yeah, what the budget cut for TUSD could mean for the district coming up. Time is 6:09. You're watching GMT on KGUN9 on your side.
before, making the Old West new again.
Maya Palace, where your style comes alive. Easy care cotton, linen, and hand-painted silks. The best fashion has to offer. Our unique accessories for day and night will update your look. In the shops at Plaza Palomino, Swan at Fort Lowell. Maya Palace.
KGUN9 on your side is brought to you by Rebad.
612 developing this morning. Student enrollment is a big issue for school districts because state funding is tied to the number of students sitting in classroom seats.
Yeah, for TUSD, the dip could mean a budget cut of about $4.5 million. Take a look at the projected enrollment numbers this school year. The district recently revised it from just under 45,000 students to slightly more than 44,000. That's a loss of about 880 students. This is the first year that the budget is based on the current year's number rather than the previous year, which means the total could drop even more in the coming months. Board Chair Michael Hicks tells us he's upset about the overall decline of the district over the past few years. He says his first priority is to get students back into the district and believes the best way to do that is to give more support to teachers in the classroom.
The Arizona Department of Education made a massive mistake in Title I funding, money slated for low-income students. The error could cost TUSD about $2.5 million. It's not the only school district that could be on the hook for overpayments. The Arizona Center for Investigative Reporting reports a miscalculation of $62 million covering 4 years. In Pima County, Sunnyside was overpaid $1.7 million. The amounts for other districts range from $11,000 to nearly $500,000. The ADE has not revealed how it will handle the overpayments. Puerto Rico is scrapping a $300 million deal to restore power on the island. The reason behind it, even though a majority of the island still doesn't have power.
Plus, how the U.S. will respond to any use of nuclear weapons by North Korea. That's coming up, April.
Clouds continuing to increase, especially this afternoon, and that means some places could get rain. We'll tell you who coming up. It's 6:13. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
1 year. Go to wiselisting.com and get your home sold. Improve your water, improve your life. WaterTech has been providing Arizona families and businesses with quality water for 50 years. We sell, service, and repair all makes and models of water systems. WaterTech.
Providing service after the sale since 1967.
6:17 this morning, Puerto Rico wants to end its deal with a company that was hired to remedy the power outage across the island. The Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority wants to deal with that company, Whitefish, to be canceled, but will let them complete the work as it has already started. Whitefish says it's very disappointed and that doing this will only delay what the people of Puerto Rico want and deserve to have power restored quickly. But FEMA says Puerto Rico's recovery process will still take years.
A killer bacteria found in the urine of rodents is now thriving in Puerto Rico's waters. At least 3 people have already died from leptospirosis. Hurricane Maria triggered massive flooding while knocking out fresh water to people on the island. In desperation, Puerto Ricans have been turning to potentially contaminated rivers and waterways to wash themselves and even drink. The government is trying to keep public fear in check, describing the situation as neither an epidemic nor a confirmed outbreak, but they are treating it as a health emergency.
Now, KGUN9 on your side first warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
6:17. The sun is just rising just enough in the east to see a little bit of cloud cover out there. The wind coming out of the southeast going to help bring a little bit more of these clouds in throughout the day and especially into the evening hours. But the combination of what little bit of cloud cover we have with the wind is the reason why we're still sitting at 65. Now, we briefly dipped to about 62 and we may still go down a few degrees before it starts to go up. But I'd say a pretty nice start to the day and a much better end, really, not only today, but for the next 7 days. We're finally going to start feeling a little more fall-like. I think, fingers crossed, we should be done with the 90s. 82 in Douglas today, 80 for you in Bowie, 76 in Bisbee, same in Sonoita, 77 for you in Nogales. This is a little more like it, I think. Even with the clouds coming in, temps are staying about 3 to 5 degrees above average. But again, at least it's 70s and 80s and no longer that record-breaking 90-degree heat that we saw the past couple of weeks. 82 for you in Vail, 85 in Tucson. Overnight lows also starting to go down, which were already nice, but now we're talking 40s and 50s. Over the next several days, including Tucson and including, again, the next 7 days, staying as cool as what you're seeing right now and maybe even cooler as we get towards the middle of the week. You can see some of that night rain way up to the north over the higher elevations. There's a chance a stray isolated shower could come this far south into the valley, I'd say from about Tucson east. So those areas that in western Pima County and up to our northwest likely not going to see as much of a chance. But all of these areas from Tucson east and southeast could see at least 20% chance for some isolated showers. It's coming from a system that has been sinking down the California coast and now into the southern California coast. You can see it right there, and that's where that wraparound moisture is coming from. So throughout the day, again, the clouds will increase, becoming mostly cloudy, maybe even as early as noon. Then off and on, you'll see the clouds with the rain chances popping up here and there right around, again, Tucson, Cochise County, Santa Cruz by that 8 o'clock hour. And we may even hold on to quite a bit of cloud cover through Tuesday and Wednesday. But man, the forecast looking good. Look at your Halloween, 81 for the high, which means trick-or-treating will already be down into the upper 60s by the time you head out. So very nice, cool night in store for those trick-or-treaters, holding on to the low to mid 80s into the weekend. Big Al?
April, it is 6:20 this morning. We're doing well on Interstate 10. Getting to it, as my colleague Alexa Liaco said, from the northwest side, a little bit more of a challenge. We're getting from the freeway down Linda Vista. Of course, Cortero Farms under construction and the Ina Road interchange closure is another thing. So Orange Grove all of a sudden looks like the best of our unkempt shirts on the northwest side. It's the best wrinkled shirt that we have in the drawer, to use Orange Grove. Campbell and University. We've got an issue here. Southbound slowing right near McHale Center from University down to around the area of 5th Street. Busy and slow through that stretch of roadway. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Big Al, thank you. At 6:21 now, look around the world this morning, starting in Barcelona, Spain. Breaking this morning, Spanish prosecutors are seeking charges of rebellion, sedition, and embezzlement against ousted Catalan cabinet officials. Protests continue in Spain. A sea of demonstrators taking to the streets yesterday to reject Catalonia's declaration of independence. Barcelona police say there was more than 1 million people there. People are saying they want the president to resign.
Any use of nuclear weapons by the North will be met with a massive military response, effective and overwhelming. Due to North Korea's aggressive and destabilizing actions, we have taken defensive steps as an alliance. Steps such as deploying the highly effective THAAD anti-missile system to the ROK.
That was U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis in a press conference this weekend on how the U.S. will respond to any use of nuclear weapons by North Korea. He joined South Korean Defense Minister Song Young-moo in Seoul for a joint press conference over the weekend. It's never fun to get your identity stolen, but what happens if it happens to you more than once? Coming up, the amount of times one woman has had her identity taken from her.
Plus, the Ford Fusion's getting some complaints this morning. What you need to know about the investigation. The time is 6:22. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Life moves forward, people change. Finding a place that honors and embraces these changes makes a big difference. From active assisted living to post-hospital rehabilitation and skilled memory care, we're an exceptional place for every stage of life. For over 50 years, Handmakers provided a loving, caring home. It's who we are. Call now to schedule a tour. Handmaker, life blooms here.
A new Jaguar for under $36,000, only at Royal Jaguar.
6:25 this morning, federal regulators are investigating complaints of loose steering wheels in Ford Fusions. The probe covers about 841,000 2014 through 2016 midsize sedans. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened the investigation after receiving 3 complaints about loose steering wheels. A person in Georgia says the steering wheel on their 2015 Fusion fell into their lap while turning into a gas station. 2 other people say a bolt attaching the wheel to the steering column came loose while driving. No reports of crashes or injuries in connection to faulty steering wheels. Ford says it's cooperating with the investigation but has yet to issue a recall.
The president is expected to announce his choice for the next chair of the Federal Reserve this week. Current Fed Chair Janet Yellen's term ends in February, and the president said his choice was narrowed down to 2 or maybe 3 people. The White House press secretary would not discuss reports that the leading candidate is Jerome Powell, a member of the Fed's board.
This morning, one woman is fighting to get her identity back after it's been stolen more than a dozen times. Katie Van Fleet says she's one of the 140 million people impacted by last month's massive Equifax data breach. Her attorney has filed a class action lawsuit against Equifax saying they were negligent when they lost private information. One cybersecurity expert has a few tips to prevent this from happening to you. First, shop with a credit card. It's easier to get stolen money back. more than your debit card. Be sure to review your credit regularly. That report, all credit reporting agencies do that. And finally, he says you should freeze your credit. He says doing that makes it impossible for strangers to open lines of credit in your name. More than a dozen times. An MLB catcher just caught himself some new charges this morning.
I see that. Why he was arrested at his home in Scottsdale. Up next.
And I'm Alexa Liaco on the northwest side. Another major artery connecting drivers from the city to I-10 is now under construction for the next few days. Coming up, the alternate you need to know about to avoid all the road work. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
Good morning to
p.m. And the big win? A $500,000 custom home or $400,000 cash. Tickets at TucsonArtsRaffle.com, 882-8585 or 624-2333. A big win for you and Tucson Arts.
The Doctors of Audiology at Arizona Hearing Specialists can help preserve your quality of life. Dr. Janice Gash chose her team to expertly assess your needs and find solutions that work. Arizona Hearing Specialists, to help you hear your best, to live your best.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
And breaking this morning, former Donald Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort has turned himself into the Justice Department Special Counsel Robert Mueller.
This is video of Manafort. We're taking a live look right now at the FBI office in Washington, D.C., where he had just walked into the building, turning himself in this morning. We learned that Manafort, here it is, was indicted under seal on Friday in the Russia investigation. The indictment is expected to be unsealed later today.
Manafort is the first in President Trump's circle to be charged in connection with the special counsel investigation. His work for a former Ukrainian president caused controversy, but Manafort denies financial wrongdoing regarding his Ukraine-related payments.
Good morning, Tucson. I'm Samantha Cortese.
And I'm Pat Paris. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll continue to follow that. ABC will as well when we join GMA at 7 o'clock. Right now, though, let's join April Madison. And I kidded with you earlier that mark down on your calendar the official start of October, but I'm really not kidding.
I mean,
as far as fall.
We're like, we're 1 day, 2 days away from November, and I think fall's finally going to just go ahead and show up. 61 outside right now. We do have 40s and 50s across Cochise County, Santa Cruz County, and even up near Casa Grande, Oracle, and certainly the higher elevation Show Low at 49 right now. So that number may go down before it starts to go up, but not likely. We are going to be in the mid-70s or 60s rather by the 8 o'clock hour, mid-70s by 10 a.m., topping out at 85, all depending on how quickly and how thick those clouds get and how early on will determine how quickly that number starts to go right back down. We are expecting a chance for rain tonight. We'll tell you who coming up. All right, Big Al, how's it looking over there?
Well, April, not bad this morning. Looks pretty good. A couple of exceptions, of course. One of them right near the U of A, where we have a little something going on near the area of Campbell and University. First of all, price of gas still holding at $2.17. Less of them, though. Only 3 total, Sam's and 3 Arcos, Park and Benson, and actually 2 Arcos, Valencia and Tucson Boulevard, $2.17. You have to pay cash for that. Here's the hazard, Campbell Avenue and University. We have Cortero Farms construction east of Interstate 10. Big work going on there, and probably the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit is the most restrictive. My colleague Alexa Liaco is north of Cortero Farms up at Linda Vista to tell us about something that starts today for the next 3 that's going to be quite restrictive. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning, Al. That's right. Just one more slight headache for drivers over on the northwest side who need to get to I-10 or from I-10 into town. Linda Vista for the next 3 days is going to be down to 1 lane from Thornydale to Hartman. That's so they can do some micro sealing and repaving work. It's a preservation project to hopefully keep the road in better shape for a longer period of time and hopefully postpone the road work that would normally have to be done from the wear and tear from the weather and drivers on the road. So that's going to be happening starting today until Wednesday, and this is especially annoying because Cortero Farms as well as Ina also under construction. So those are the 3 main routes in Linda Vista. The road that we're standing on right now used to be the perfect alternate for everybody to get around, but now, at least for the first half of this week, is going to be very restricted. It's not going to be shut down like the Ina interchange area is, and it's not going to be as restricted as Cortero Farms, but it will cause you to be a little bit delayed. So you definitely want to take a few extra minutes, especially if you're coming out to Mountain View High School. This area gets pretty busy in the morning. And even though we've only been here for a little bit this morning, it's already pretty heavily trafficked. So we do want to warn drivers, give yourselves a few extra minutes. If you're traveling through Linda Vista, know that it will be highly restricted for the next 3 days. Or you can take Orange Grove and avoid all the construction altogether. Pat and Sam, sending it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Alexa. Thank you. At 6:34, happening this morning, Customs and Border Protection will open more lanes at the Mariposa Port of Entry.
9 on your sides. Carlos Herrera's live there this morning with more on CBP's effort to ease congestion. Carlos, we're talking a lot of traffic today, but for good reason.
Yeah, really good news. In fact, these extra lanes just opened about 30 minutes ago. Take a look. No wait times so far since the lanes have opened, and that's exactly how CBP wants to keep things from here on out at the Mariposa Port of Entry. They're looking forward to just easing traffic in this area, but also at the DeConcini Port of Entry. And again, this is all a pilot program that begins today. The extra lanes here at the Mariposa Crossing will be just open about a half an hour ago and will remain open until 8 a.m. in the morning peak hours. CBP wants to help facilitate the entry process for legitimate daily travelers, and travelers say they're looking forward to how much time they'll be saving every day. Especially during summer when it's hot, it would help us who cross frequently because we wouldn't have to wait as long as we do now. CBP wants to encourage daily commuters to take advantage of this pilot program. For now, they say it's only a trial, but they will reassess the program after about 2 weeks. And if a lot of people use these extra lanes and they become very effective, they will look to have the program become permanent. You can head to our website, KGUN9.com, for more information. For now, we're live in Nogales. I'm Carlos Herrera. Pat and Sam, back to you guys.
All right, Carlos, thank you. At 6:36, a crime alert this morning. Oakland A's catcher Bruce Maxwell arrested at his Scottsdale home over the weekend. A food delivery driver claims Maxwell pointed a gun at her on Saturday. Maxwell was booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct. Maxwell made headlines last month when he became the first MLB player to kneel in protest during the national anthem. This past week, he says, a waiter in Alabama refused to serve him because of his decision to kneel.
This morning, a Tucson woman is getting help from the Red Cross following a fire in her kitchen. Happened yesterday on the west side near Anklam and Cholla. Tucson Fire tells us flames shot through the vent pipe near her roof and heavy smoke billowed out the front door. Firefighters had the flames under control in 15 minutes and the woman wasn't hurt, but her pet bird died in the fire. This morning, actor Kevin Spacey is apologizing for allegations of attempted sexual advances, but his apology comes with other information. Some are saying is hoping will take the attention away from the allegation.
Plus, if you thought World Series Game 2 was crazy, try Game 5, how both teams fought back and forth during a 5.5-hour epic game last night. The time, 6:37. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday. We are going to see clouds increasing throughout the day, becoming mostly to partly cloudy at times, especially into the evening and late afternoon hours. Still should hit about 85 for the high. And although that's about 5 degrees above our average, at least we're finally getting the 80s back. And it looks like they're going to stick around for the rest of the week and hopefully even into next week. Halloween looking to be very nice with a high of 81 and down to the upper 60s for the trick-or-treaters. Good morning. 85 becoming partly to mostly cloudy. Very, very slight 20% chance for some isolated showers by tonight. Otherwise, even cooler temps for your Halloween and Wednesday.
Being a landlord and want to sell now? Hi, I'm Mike Anderson, and we buy houses. In the last 40 years, our family business has bought more than 1,000 Tucson houses. We pay cash, buy as is, and pay all closing costs. For a fast, fair, friendly, all-cash, as-is sale, call me at 977-1110 or go to WeBuyHouses.com. I promise we'll make selling faster and easier than anyone.
Skycam is brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less.
Almost 6:40. Welcome back. Actor Kevin Spacey says he's beyond horrified to hear accusations he made sexual advances on an underage actor. Anthony Rapp told BuzzFeed he was just 14 when Spacey made the advances. Spacey was 26 at the time. Spacey tweeted that he doesn't remember the encounter and said he owes Rapp an apology if it's true. Spacey said any action would have been the result of, quote, deeply inappropriate drunken behavior. In that tweet, Spacey also revealed that he is gay.
Actress Rose McGowan wants you to know sexual assault and harassment is not isolated to Hollywood. Over the weekend, the actress gave a rousing speech at the Women's Convention in Detroit. It was McGowan's first public appearance since charges of sexual harassment came to light 3 weeks ago against Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein.
Hollywood may seem like it's an isolated thing, but it is not. It is the mirror that you're given to look into. It's all told through 96% males in the Directors Guild of America.
Harvey Weinstein, though, through his spokesman, has denied any allegations of non-consensual sex. While addressing the women's conference, McGowan also said she hopes victims will no longer feel the need to hide. Down but not out. The Astros rally again against the Dodgers in another instant classic.
How Houston battles back to take the World Series lead. Now the Astros have a chance to wrap it up in LA tomorrow night. April?
Fall temps finally arriving. That's going to make for a very nice trick-or-treat forecast. We'll take a look at that coming up. It's 6:41. You're watching KGUN9 on your side.
Welcome back. This morning, a Tucson woman is getting help from the Red Cross following a fire in her kitchen. It happened yesterday on the west side near Anklam and Cholla. Tucson Fire tells us flames shot out a roof vent pipe and heavy smoke billowed out of the front of the home. Firefighters had the flames under control in about 15 minutes. The woman wasn't hurt, but her pet bird did die in that fire. We will be back in about a half an hour with more news, weather, and traffic. For now, enjoy GMA.
Temptations cats can't resist. You wouldn't do only half of your daily routine, so why treat your mouth any differently? Complete the job with Listerine. Help prevent plaque, early gum disease, bad breath, and kill up to 99.9% of germs. Listerine, bring out the bold.
6:44, welcome back. Game 2 of the World Series will be remembered as an epic extra inning battle, victory by the Astros in LA to even that best-of-7 series a game apiece. But last night's Game 5 also needs extra innings and solidifies this showdown as one of the greatest fall classics of all time. Let's go to Houston. Series tied 2 games apiece. Astros ace Dallas Keuchel knocked out after 4 innings. Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw leaves not much later. That's a Yuli Gurriel 3-run shot, erasing a 4-0 deficit, all tied at 4. Kershaw gone after 4 2/3. Top of the 2-on for Cody Bellinger, drives the ball into the seats and right. The Dodgers retake the lead thanks to that home run. But how about in the bottom of the 5th? That is Jose Altuve with a 3-run shot. That blast ties the game up at 7. They just keep battling back and forth. Bottom of the 7th, Brandon Morrow on in relief. Morrow's never pitched 3 consecutive days in his career, and he shouldn't have been in the game last night. That's Carlos Correa belting a 2-run homer. 4 off Morrow, makes it 11-8. But the Dodgers, they do come back. Yasiel Puig cuts the lead to 1 on a 2-run homer, his 2nd homer of the series. And then 3 batters later, it is Chris Taylor singling in the game-tying run. The Dodgers have battled back from a 3-run deficit. But in the extra inning battle, the 10th inning, with 2 on and 2 out, Alex Bregman, the RBI single off Kenley Jansen. Derek Fisher scores on the walk-off single. The Astros top the Dodgers in a thriller, 13-12 and 10. Houston takes a 3-2 series lead.
I mean, just when I thought I could describe Game 2 as my favorite game of all time, I think Game 5 exceeded that and more. So it's hard to put into words all the twists and turns in that game, the emotion, doing it home in front of our home crowd.
And it's just, there's a lot of pressure on you when you're out there and, you want to win a game and you want to win the World Series. So, I hopefully we can win one more game and then take a break because this is hard on me.
Yeah. It's hard on a lot of people just to watch it, really. But what a thrilling game it was last night. And now it'll be tomorrow night in L.A., Game 6. The Astros with a chance to wrap up the first World Series title in their history. They send veteran Jason Verlander to the mound at Dodger Stadium. A must-win for L.A. as the Dodgers counter with Rich Hill.
Now, KGUN9 on your side first warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
6:47, the sun is rising almost completely up now. We take a live look outside from Tumamoc Hill. You can see a little bit of cloud cover, same near Sabino Canyon, downtown Tucson, Mount Lemmon. Starting to see a lot of that sunshine at the top of the mountain. It's going to be a nice cool start to the day, and it's actually going to be even cooler for the majority of this week. Now, keep in mind, we were sitting in the 20s about an hour ago, both with our humidity and dew point values, and they're already starting to go up. So we're seeing moisture and clouds creeping into the forecast, getting a little bit closer and closer, which we'll definitely see more of later today, and then especially into the evening hours, those clouds will start to increase. But even maybe by noon, we could already be seeing quite a bit of a blanket of clouds there. Could be a great day, though, for a picnic, especially early on that noon time frame, or anywhere between 10 a.m. if you're going to do brunch up to lunch. Pretty nice to be outside. We're not expecting a lot of wind, and temps, again, much cooler. I could say the same really for Halloween, because that's likely going to be one of, if not the coolest days of the week. And the reason for it is because we are seeing not only a little bit of moisture and a little bit of a chance for rain, but then when we get on the backside of that, then we see even cooler temps. The reason for it, though, is that right there you can see the center of circulation as the system continues to make its way east. So a little bit of this moisture is going to actually wrap around and start pulling into southern Arizona, increasing our clouds right there along that Tucson to Nogales and southeast line. So we'll see those clouds push through, and then probably around 8, 9 o'clock tonight, we start seeing possibly some isolated showers popping up. But it looks like we could hold on to some pretty thick cloud cover off and on, really even through Wednesday. Chances for rain, though, will diminish more so after tonight, and so we're not expecting it to get in the way or hinder any problems when it comes to trick-or-treating. But the temps are going to be very nice, anywhere between, I'd say, 6 and 8. We'll be in the mid to upper 60s with partly cloudy skies, which is very nice for those very warm costumes. We need the cooler temps for the warm costumes for sure. Otherwise, low to mid 80s is what we're going to hold on to as we move into the weekend. Could see another system start to bring us a little bit of cloud cover Saturday and Sunday. A little too soon to tell, but for now, we at least get to enjoy our first full week of the 80s. Big Al?
I love the 80s, April. I know you did too. 649 Alvernon between Valencia Road and Hughes Access on your way out toward the area of Raytheon, Bombardier, Flight Safety, and all those other aviation-related businesses. About 4 minutes. I-19 from Duval Mine to I-10 still holding at 18 minutes this morning, which is pretty good for northbound. Speaking of northbound, you now have the Ajo on-ramp back onto I-19 for northbound travel. This $54 million project scheduled to be done in April of next year. It's one of 2 big ADOT projects that are involving interchanges. The other one, of course, is at Ina and I-10, got the new northbound ramp. Here's a wreck just east of Tucson Estates, Ajo and Camino de Oeste. Light damage, direction is unknown. We'll take the break and be right back. You are watching Good Morning Tucson.
Casa de los Niños helps families.
Pet emergencies can happen at any time. When they do, call Pima Pet Clinic Animal Emergency Service at 326-7449. They feature advanced 24-hour emergency care. For pet emergencies, call Pima Pet Clinic Animal Emergency Service at 326-7449.
Get alerted when KGUN9 on your side is live on Facebook. Simply go to the top of our page and tap the like button. Real coverage, real news. KGUN9 on your side.
6:53, and this morning Tucson police are looking for 4 people they say shot and killed a person at a house party. 4 people tried to get into a party north of the U of A campus on early Saturday morning. When told they couldn't come in, police say they began to shoot.
Oakland A's catcher Bruce Maxwell was arrested at his Scottsdale home after pointing a gun at a food delivery driver. He was booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct. Happening this morning, Customs and Border Protection will open more lanes at the Mariposa Port of Entry.
9 on your side's Carlos Herrera is live there this morning with more on CBP's efforts to ease congestion. Carlos.
Yeah, it's been 1 hour since those extra lanes have opened here at the Mariposa Port of Entry. Good news so far, as there hasn't been any backup since then and no lines have been forming, and that's good news for CBP because they want to alleviate congestion here and also facilitate the entry not only here at the Mariposa Port of Entry but also at the DeConcini Port of Entry. For now, it's only a trial. They'll be opening extra lanes from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for 2 weeks, and then they will reassess how effective it is to decide whether or not the decision is permanent. For now, we're live in Nogales. I'm Carlos Herrera. Pat and Sam, sending it back to you guys.
Carlos, thanks so much. April Madison, it's National Candy Corn Day, and I don't know how I feel about it, but it's another reason to eat candy, I guess.
There's got to be someone in the world who loves candy corn. I think my mom does. That may be it. 65 outside right now. A little bit of cloud cover. That's actually going to get thicker and thicker throughout the day and also even bring a very slight chance for rain, including Tucson, but not until tonight. And it's from Tucson east, so it may just be higher elevations like Mount Lemmon, but we could see a stray isolated shower or two, I'd say from about 8 o'clock on. But we are definitely expecting the increased clouds. May even hang on to those clouds through Halloween and into your Wednesday. Going to see some cooling for your Halloween as well, which means trick-or-treating will be really nice, probably down in the 60s in our first week of not only the 80s, but finally feeling a little more like fall. Big Al?
5 minutes until 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at a little something out here on the west side. Just east of Kinney Roads. Direction still unknown, but 2 vehicles and just a minor scenario here. I don't think there are injuries. Ajo Way at Camino de Oeste, again, just east of Tucson Estates. Have this issue, Golf Links and Kolb Road. Little problem. Look at all the slowing here for northbound travel from Kolb and Golf Links all the way up to 22nd Street. My colleague Alexa Liakos on the northwest side with another little issue, just another little razor sharp knife in our northwest side skin this morning to try to get to and from the freeway. Alexa?
That's exactly right, Al. And if you drive over here often, use Cortero Farms, Ina, Orange Grove, you know how busy these roads get. Well, one more headache to add to it. Linda Vista from Thornydale to Hartman will be under construction for some micro sealing repaving work for the next 3 days. So it's about a 2-mile stretch that's going to be down to 1 lane, 1 direction at a time. A pilot car will lead drivers through, and that's during normal business working hours. So do give yourself some extra time if you do have to use Linda Vista. If you'd like to avoid the construction altogether, you've got to go all the way down to Orange Grove as your alternate. Pat and Sam, back to you.
All right, Alexa, thank you very much. At 6:56, tomorrow Halloween, of course. Many of you have already been dressing up all weekend long and celebrating the holiday. We want to see all the pictures and videos of both people and pets alike. Send them to share@kgun9.com. You can find a gallery of your photos on our website, kgun9.com. And yeah, there have been terrific ones as well, but not as terrific as this.
Look at the mystery gang.
I mean, is so funny.
Alexa's on the left side, Alexa Liaco, Carlos Herrera, Scooby-Doo, producer Adrian holding